Diana Taurasi. The name alone commands respect. In the annals of basketball, few figures loom as large. She is the WNBA's all-time leading scorer, a 3-time WNBA champion, a 10-time WNBA All-Star. Her list of accolades could fill a book. For 2 decades, she was the heart and soul of the Phoenix Mercury. She, the Mercury. Her fiery passion and unmatched skill captivated fans worldwide. They called her the White Mamba for a reason. She was relentless, fearless, and a winner. Taurasi's bond with Phoenix ran deep. She bled purple and orange. The city embraced her as one of their own. Together, they built a dynasty. 3 championships, countless memories. The Footprint Center roared with every Taurasi three-pointer. It was a love affair between a city and its icon. Retirement, it seemed, would only strengthen that bond. But the world of professional sports is a fickle one. Loyalties are tested, legacies are rewritten. And on a day that will live in infamy for Phoenix Mercury fans, the unthinkable happened. The franchise traded away a legend. Brittney Griner, Taurasi's longtime teammate and friend, was headed to the Atlanta Dream. The news sent shockwaves through the WNBA. Brittney Griner, a generational talent in her own right, was on the move. The trade sent shockwaves through the league. Griner, a dominant force in the paint, had been a cornerstone of the Mercury franchise. Her absence would leave a gaping hole in the team's roster. Fans and analysts alike struggled to make sense of the move. The official statement from the Mercury front office was predictable. They cited the need for a fresh start and a desire to build for the future. But the whispers started immediately. Rumors of locker room discord and salary cap constraints swirled. Was this a forced move? Was Griner unhappy in Phoenix? The speculation was relentless. Lost in the initial chaos was a sense of disbelief. Griner and Taurasi, 2 future Hall of Famers, were synonymous with the Mercury. They had shared the court for years, their chemistry undeniable. They were the backbone of a dynasty. Now they were rivals. The WNBA landscape had shifted and the aftershocks were only just beginning to be felt. In the immediate aftermath of the trade, all eyes turned to Diana Taurasi. How would the legend react? Would she support her team's decision, or would she express her displeasure? The basketball world held its breath, waiting for the White Mamba to strike. For weeks, Taurasi remained silent. She retreated from the public eye, her thoughts and feelings a mystery. The speculation continued to mount. Was she angry, disappointed, resigned? Finally, the silence was broken. In an exclusive interview with ESPN, Taurasi addressed the trade for the first time. Her words were not what anyone expected. "I'm not going to sugarcoat it," Taurasi began, her voice laced with a quiet fury. "This is bullshit." The words hung in the air, a bombshell dropped on the WNBA world. Diana Taurasi, the ultimate competitor, the consummate professional, was furious, and she wasn't holding back. Taurasi's interview sent shockwaves through the league. Her words were raw, unfiltered, and dripping with emotion. She spoke of betrayal, of disrespect, of a legacy tarnished. For years, she had given everything to the Mercury franchise. She had bled for the team, had sacrificed her body and soul for the pursuit of championships. And this was how they repaid her? By trading away her partner in crime, her friend, her sister-in-arms. BG and I, we built something special here, Taurasi said, her voice trembling with barely suppressed rage. We poured our hearts and souls into this team, into this city, and they just threw it all away. The hurt in her voice was palpable. This wasn't just about basketball. This was personal. The anger was evident in every word Taurasi spoke. She felt betrayed by the organization she had given so much to. She felt disrespected by the front office that had seemingly disregarded her opinion. And most of all, she felt a profound sense of sadness that the era she had helped build in Phoenix had come to such an abrupt and unceremonious end. A partnership fractured Taurasi and the Mercury front office. Taurasi's scathing critique of the Griner trade exposed a deep rift between the franchise legend and the Mercury front office. The relationship, once seemingly unbreakable, was now fractured beyond repair. Trust had been broken. Loyalties had been tested. And the future of the Phoenix Mercury hung in the balance. In the days following Taurasi's explosive interview, the Mercury front office attempted to do damage control. They released statements praising Taurasi's legacy and contributions to the team. They spoke of difficult decisions and the need to prioritize the franchise's long-term future, but their words rang hollow. The damage was done. Taurasi's trust in the organization had been shattered. The once unthinkable scenario of her finishing her career in another uniform suddenly seemed like a very real possibility. The relationship between the White Mamba and the Mercury, once a source of pride and joy for both parties, had become a cautionary tale of broken promises and shattered dreams. The aftermath, fallout, and repercussions. The aftershocks of Taurasi's interview reverberated throughout the WNBA. The league was in uncharted territory. Never before had a player of Taurasi's stature so publicly and so forcefully criticized her own team. The fallout was immediate and far-reaching. Fans were divided. Some supported Taurasi, applauding her honesty and her willingness to stand up for what she believed in. Others felt she had overstepped her bounds, that her loyalty should lie with the franchise, not with a single player. The debate raged on social media, in sports bars, and on talk radio. Within the Mercury organization, the mood was tense. Players and coaches found themselves caught in the middle of a public relations nightmare. The front office, already facing scrutiny for the Griner trade, was now tasked with repairing the fractured relationship with their biggest star. The task seemed insurmountable. A league in shock, the WNBA Reacts. The WNBA, a league built on the backs of its star players, watched the drama unfold with a mixture of fascination and trepidation. Taurasi's outburst had exposed a raw nerve within the league. It had highlighted the delicate balance between player empowerment and franchise autonomy. Players across the WNBA voiced their support for Taurasi. They understood her frustration, her sense of betrayal. They too had dedicated their lives to the league, had sacrificed and fought for every inch of respect and recognition. Taurasi's words resonated deeply within the WNBA community. The Griner trade and its aftermath had forced the WNBA to confront some uncomfortable truths. The league was growing, both in popularity and in financial stability, but player salaries and movement remained a contentious issue. Taurasi's stand had ignited a conversation about player power, a conversation that was long overdue. What now? The uncertain future of the Mercury. In the wake of the Griner trade and the Taurasi controversy, the future of the Phoenix Mercury was shrouded in uncertainty. The team was at a crossroads. The dynasty that Taurasi and Griner had helped build was in ruins. The relationship between the franchise's greatest player and its front office was shattered. The Mercury faced a long and arduous road back to contention. They needed to rebuild their roster, their reputation, and their relationship with their fan base. The task seemed daunting, but not impossible. The first step in the healing process would be to mend fences with Diana Taurasi. The front office needed to acknowledge her contributions, her loyalty, and her pain. They needed to assure her that her voice mattered, that her legacy would be protected. Whether such a reconciliation was possible remained to be seen. Taurasi's truth, a legacy tarnished or strengthened. Diana Taurasi's legacy as a basketball player is secure. She will forever be remembered as one of the greatest to ever grace the court. But her legacy as a Phoenix Mercury icon was now more complicated. Her scathing critique of the Griner trade had tarnished her image in the eyes of some. She had dared to speak truth to power, and in doing so, she had risked alienating the franchise she had given so much to. But for many, Taurasi's actions had only strengthened her legacy. They saw her as a fearless leader, a loyal teammate, and a passionate advocate for the game she loved. She had refused to be silenced, even when it would have been easier to toe the company line. She had stood up for what she believed in, even if it meant jeopardizing her relationship with the team she had bled for. In the end, only time will tell how Diana Taurasi's legacy will be judged. But one thing is certain, her voice, her truth, will continue to resonate within the WNBA and beyond. She had sparked a conversation, ignited a debate, and forced the league to confront its own uncomfortable realities, and that in itself is a legacy worth celebrating.